In this conversation, it's helped me to think about there's also two pieces to belonging. Is just there's the self piece, like the piece that I need to work on for myself so that I understand how I do belong or fit into whatever it is organizationally or into that societal piece. And then there's the piece that others need to do in order to make sure that they are providing the right environment, or at least a let's call it a non-hostile environment for people to be able to become part of that world, right?
Yeah.
And so in a world that's where we are, where we're kind of push-pull, things kind of shift one way and then radically shift the other. If I'm an individual and I am thinking about how to address belonging within myself, what are some of the things I should think about?
Couple of things that I think about when I walk into a situation and all of a sudden have this wave of, I don't know if I belong here. I think about connecting. I have just in the last few months tapped into connect, respect, and protect from an inward focused approach, where I can, if I walk into a situation and get that wave of questioning whether I belong here, I can connect with my own core values, and that helps me feel more rooted, where I find that I start questioning whether I belong when I start thinking more about what I think you're thinking. You know, when I start climbing into your head or anybody else's head, I start questioning whether I belong. And so for me, connecting with my own core values and my own core helps me sort of climb back into my own head. And not, some of it might be comparing, comparison often is if I start comparing myself to other people in the room, all of that, not a lot of good can come from that, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So connecting to my own core values and my own shifting my focus inward. I think about doing something to soothe my spirit. Oftentimes, like I am a confident person. I am a confident woman. And so sometimes when I get this question of do I belong, I could bop myself over the head. Come on, Wendy, you're a confident person, So I could bop myself and jump, berate myself for, why are you worried about what other people? But at that time, I need to soothe my spirit and say it's okay. Everybody wants to belong, and we sometimes question whether we belong. It is okay to do that. So I do something to soothe my spirit. I often will ask myself questions like, is that really true? Is it, and not a judgy, not like a, come on, really, right, Wendy, but is it really true that these people are looking at me, because they're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
It's the hardest thing. It is really hard sometimes to realize that that's not the case, right? But it's one of those things that once you actually are able to do that internally, it does make a world of difference. Yep. And there was something that I was reading that you mentioned that simple things like asking others to be included in the conversation or their opinion about things it's just really easy to do. But as you do that, people get a sense of belonging. Exactly. And they start to feel like, okay, I am important because they've asked me now to give an opinion. And so it kind of cuts both ways, right? So you have to figure out how not to internalize or worry so much about fitting into the group. But other people, yourself, you have to also be willing to accept or invite other people into the group, so that we get this communal thing going, so that people can always feel like they've got that opportunity.
Yeah, it can be reciprocal. It can be as simple as when we walk into a room, like if we're at a social gathering and there are people at tables. From the environmental perspective, if you want to focus on helping someone else feel like they belong, you can invite them to come sit at your table. Hey, you want to sit next to me? You know how good that feels when
Yeah.
somebody, when somebody invites you to sit next to them, whether you know them or not. They're just like,
That's right.
They see you and they would like to. They're making this invitation. The invitation, whether it's accepted or not. Maybe you're coming in there and you're already knew that you were going to sit next to someone specific. So even though you don't accept the invitation, just having made the invitation makes you feel good.
That's right.
And it makes me feel good for having made the invitation. And so that's a really simple example of the reciprocity, kind of the push and pull.
If you enjoyed that clip, click up here and see the full episode. Make sure you also subscribe so you don't miss anything new. And if you want to see other full episodes of Uncommonly Remarkable, just click on this playlist and you'll get everything that you need. Thanks for taking the time, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Uncommonly Remarkable.